What's important? I am speaking from the standpoint of somebody who is 69 years old. I can attest to the idea that time flies. Now. Not back then. Throughout my childhood, everything was terribly slow. It was years before my toes poked up under the covers closer to the end of my bed. I can remember that. It seemed so slow as I progressed through all the grades in school until finally, I was in the 12th grade, and I realized I was nowhere near being ready to start the next phase of my life. It was a couple of years later that I met my husband, and he, being a good 8 years older than me, helped me transition into adulthood. Truth be told, I never really felt like an adult until I was in my 40s. Time began to gather speed, and from the time I was a young adult to the time I was maybe 30 years old, it was fast. During those years, I began to feel I wasn't paying enough attention to my dreams, which were to be a writer and to understand my place in the universe. I've been doing both of those things for many years now, and realize at the ripe old age of 69 that I will never be finished with that particular journey. Time passing during my 40s and 50s felt like it was super fast. It made my head whirl. When my 60s hit, I almost panicked, realizing that I hadn't done what I wanted to do. Yes, I'd developed a sort of spiritual understanding of things, and had even become a psychic channel. What I realized I needed to do was write about those experiences. I realized that when I was younger, I had such a limited understanding of the world that many things frightened me. Now, as a psychic channel where I talk to dead guys and teachers on somewhat different levels of existence where we find ourselves as human beings on Earth, I'm not afraid anymore. I have found peace. It wasn't an easy road, and I like to talk about it. I am not at peace constantly. Mostly, yes, but there are still times when I experience pain or panic that intrudes and disturbs the peace. I don't know if that will ever go away, but it is enough that I can delve into my world of writing, where I can talk with spirit, where I can take a deep breath and feel a mantle of peace drop onto my shoulders. It's nice. The only reason I strive to have these things happen in my life is that I became aware of other people through the years who also talked about God, spiritual growth, and emotional growth in a non-threatening way or a judgmental way. Sometimes, even though I've never trained in religious studies, I feel like a minister writing sermons. Some people in the church I was raised in would take offense at what I say. Except, I've experienced these things, and I know them to be true. You don't have to become a psychic to reach what I have in my life. When you pray, know that you are praying to somebody who hears your voice. Do you remember the old story about a guy who had climbed up on top of his roof to escape rising floodwaters? He knows in his heart that God will save him. So when the neighbors floated by in their rowboat and asked him if he wanted to join them to get to the higher ground, he said, "No, thank you. God will save me." And so it went. Group after group of folk fleeing the rising water. And then, later on, the first responders who were out in helicopters and boats to perform rescues would ask him to allow them to rescue him. Each and every time he would say, "God will save me." We all know what happened, right? Yes, the guy drowned. The next thing, he is in heaven talking to God. He's madder than a wet hen at God and asks him, "Why didn't you save me?" To which God replied, "I sent you several rowboats, a helicopter, and an amphibious vehicle. Why didn't you take advantage of any one of them?" This is also where that adage of being careful about what you wish for comes from. On another level, this is why it took me years to realize that the tough places I found myself in from time to time were only lessons to make me stronger. I hope you enjoyed this video. I write like this all the time. Come join me at Just Passing Through by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching. Written by Pauline Evanosky.